Hello, Warhawks, and welcome to our family, friends, faculty, staff, and community. I am honored to be addressing you all today. And while it is true that outside this field house, just off campus, and far beyond Whitewater, Wisconsin, the world is still carrying on and the clocks are still ticking. Nonetheless, know that this very moment is pivotal to each and every one of us here. Graduates, today is both the pinnacle and the launch point of your personal journey. I'd also like for us to recognize the privileges that have brought each of us here to this point in time. Take a moment to recognize those who aspire and dream to sit in the chairs that you now occupy, but have fallen short on their journey. Women, immigrants, folks in underserved communities, and so many others from all walks of life are far too often left out of spaces like these. Spaces where the mind's curiosity is fed, inspiration flows through the halls, and success is attainable for those lucky enough to be here. I say this not to undermine your achievements, but to provide new perspective. And in the words of author, lawyer, and activist Brian Stevenson, you don't change the world with the ideas in your head, but with the conviction in your heart. Remember this as you move on to the next steps of your journey. Accept this responsibility and understand the role that you play in shaping our future. Look back on these years and be confident that the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater believes in you, this community supports you, and that this part of your journey has prepared you to carry on as you inspire, engage, and transform the path that lies ahead. Now, I'd like to share with you one of the defining pieces of my identity. When I was around 16 years old, I read a book called Never Fall Down, and it changed me. The 224-page hardcover novel looked like any other on a library or bookstore shelf, but this one was different. It brought me face to face with my history, my story, my path, and my future. Never Fall Down recounts the true story of a boy named Arn Chorn Pond as he endures the trauma and aftermath of the Cambodian genocide, which lasted from 1975 through 1979. The young boy is severed from his family, sees the deaths of more children than he can remember, and spends years working in rice fields until he can no longer physically or emotionally feel. Yet he continues to tell himself to never fall down. Now you might wonder why this story struck me so deeply. Well, when my mom was 3 years old, she and her family lived through this regime that would send Cambodia into its most agonizing period, beginning to suffocate the country in fear, war, and hopelessness. This dark cloud was about to topple the country. My mom, my grandma and grandpa, and my 4 uncles witnessed senseless killings and devastating work camps. They made the decision to leave home and flee the country, traveling to Thailand by foot. And in the early 1980s, my family was sponsored by a church here in Wisconsin, and they arrived as refugees in the United States. But from there, the struggles only continued, as my grandpa still sees images of the country enveloped in war as he sleeps at night. But let's bring it back to that word for a second. Struggle. This is something we can all understand, and we have all felt this at one point in our tenure here. You don't have to be the daughter of a refugee for this word to resonate. Final exams, social life struggles, feverish multitasking, and the occasional Wisconsin polar vortex have all led to struggle in one way or another for all of us here. But I say that we don't let these moments of weakness or seeming insufficiency fall to the wayside. Embrace these so-called shortcomings to define a new piece of yourself, a piece that yearns to build up and be more, just as I try to do as I learn more about who I am and who it is I want to be. Now, I would be willing to bet that there are a vast number of people in this room who may know little to nothing about the Cambodian genocide. And I don't condemn you, think less of you, or even feel disappointed. In fact, I am excited for you. I am eager for the next steps in your journey. I am overwhelmed that I have the opportunity to stand here today and share a part of my identity with you, just like Arn Chorn Pond did in the book. I share this sliver of my life with you to inspire you to do the same. Open up your worldview, seek new perspectives, understand the power of diversity in this world. In the same breath, know that what you see is barely even the tip of the iceberg. There is more to the human experience, a certain career path, and each individual than you first assume. Just as I am more than the daughter of a refugee, a proud Wisconsinite, a sister, a friend, a partner, a teacher, a learner, and soon, a UW-Whitewater graduate, everybody else in this world is made up of millions of experiences, stories, and beliefs that lie beneath the surface. So, whether you learn something new about your personal narrative or have the chance to help someone else discover theirs, I promise you that 5 minutes of vulnerability leads to a lifetime of enlightenment. And while many of these experiences and stories give rise to discomfort and fear, you must know that hundreds and thousands across the world live under these circumstances each day. And many of us are in a position that allows us to shut out the parts of the world that make us cringe. But I am challenging you to resist that urge. I'll leave you with this. When you have the choice between complacency and growth, choose the latter. Choose growth, because as Warhawks, every course, campus organization, job, encounter, success, and even struggle has given you the privilege to do so. Whether you change the world in a town, an industry, a business, a campus, or in an individual's heart, do so fiercely and unforgivingly, with conviction and with purple running through your veins. Thank you.
Thank you, Mikayla, for your inspiring message.